Hello friends, this is Melanie here with the Astro Weather for October 4th today until October 10th, next Monday, which is Canadian Thanksgiving. What a week! What a build up to the full moon on the 9th of October. The full moon will be in Aries because the sun is in Libra now and will come with CHIRON. CHIRON gets highlighted by the full moon. That's once a year, but this year really close. I show you the chart of the full moon right now before we go into anything else for this week, because this is the culmination and the full moon will catalyze all the other comings and goings. So here is the full moon. The moon here in Aries with Chiron, the sun with Venus in Libra, and in between, in square, Lilith in Cancer. Also in square, not quite exact, but close to, is Pluto in Capricorn. So that's quite a dynamic theme and energy field that we are moving into, and Chiron is the big player. Also, I should say Jupiter, because Jupiter is still in early Aries, will go back into Pisces end of October here, but will be also activated by the moon. And Jupiter has been really big and bright because it's so close to the Earth at this point. And the new moon in Libra, which we just had on the 25th of September, was contrasting with and lighting up Jupiter like a mini moon. So that's a mouthful of things, of cosmic planetary action a la Aries. So what's the gist here? The gist is that healing and presence and authenticity with Aries are really culminating now. Things are coming to a peak with the full moon, and it's about the dynamic between these two sides. So there's the war, the medical warfare that's going on on so many fronts, whether it's about waging war in the war medicine, waging war against all sorts of pathogenic enemies, and having a whole medical pharma arsenal built up for that. We've seen lots of that in the last years, and it's been going on for quite a while. So that whole concept of the war medicine. And in contrast is, of course, peace with Libra, and is also balance, fairness, justice. All these things are up as well in the whole medical realm and legal battles in that regard, Aries Libra, yet also in other realms when it comes to war and peace. So this is such a huge, of course, also with the newest development regarding pipeline, regarding the gas, northern. I don't know the word for it. No, I don't know the term for it, but the leak of the gas pipeline, basically, gas pipeline. It's like, I don't think that's correct. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Things are coming to a peak in that regard. All kinds of questions around who did this, who sabotaged this, who's responsible. So that's very Aries, Libra. And yeah, so we personally are called to be in right relationship. I mean, all of this came up also with First Nations, indigenous culture, healing, wounding, and also very apropos Chiron in Aries now, and social justice in that regard. So that can be quite an intense energy field. All of this happens in the cardinal signs, the Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, that are about the four pillars in a way of society: the self, family, home, then relatedness, relationships, justice, fairness, peace, and also the leadership question. Capricorn, a lot of tension in those fields with one another and within them. And the full moon makes things quite intense emotionally and can be also quite sharp and quite seems things, and especially choices, decisions, action. Aries Libra can seem to be quite urgent, yet they also need to be deliberated, Libra, and things need to go according to uh, in fair and just and well negotiated ways, rather than stepping into a wild action that um, seems to be needed, but not always the right thing to do, and can lead to more unnecessary wounding and setbacks, because Chiron is also nowadays retrograde. So we also want to watch not to be in survival mode, not to be in this actionism and in this urgency, and to consult Libra wise with our own inner peaceful warrior, Chiron, so Aries Libra, and also with others without sitting on the fence and being blocked from action. So this is this dichotomy of Libra and Aries regarding self, regarding taking action, moving forward, and taking initiative, versus being in a right relationship with another, and also with nations, with whoever is the apparent opponent or the partner. So, yeah, lots of tension. And what does the full moon catalyze? What's also going on this week? We've had now Mercury since Monday, yesterday, go forward out of retrograde. That was wait a minute, the second was the Sunday, right? Second was the Sunday. That's when Mercury went out of retrograde. But it's still in post retrograde storm, in this turnaround phase. I call it a U turn until tomorrow, the 5th, and then we'll continue to be in shadow mode, in post retro shadow. So in that integration mode, uh, as Mercury is still now in Virgo, and go into Libra again, where it went retro from on September 9th. What a phase since then, right? Since September 9th until October 2nd, when Mercury was retro. That was the peak of the retro season and the retro record of the year of 7 planets retrograde. And now they're slowly unwinding, slowly turning around, starting with Mercury on the 2nd. Then now with Pluto is next on October 8th, also catalyzed by the October 9th full moon. Pluto in late Capricorn, still in late Capricorn until next year, before Pluto goes into Aquarius. Starting for the first time end of March 2023 until May 2023. So that is the first preview of Pluto in Aquarius, when it just dances on the 0-degree mark. And then it goes fully into Aquarius on January 20th, 21st, 2024, for quite a while. That will be a game changer. We're not quite going there, but taking note of Pluto now for the last time turning around from late Capricorn, where it is currently, and going forward to eventually go even into Aquarius uh, around the spring equinox next year. So, what's this about? This is about the slow, steady, consistent evolution out of the old world consciousness, out of what I call the old empire that expires now. And with that, all sorts of shadow comes to the forefront. All kinds of revelation is happening in this evolution of shadow themes of old structures, old top-down hierarchical societal governmental structures, and the ways they need to change, really, right? And so how can we support this rather than also getting stuck in opposition to it, and still being part of the old by giving it energy and by resisting it? And how can we turn around in ourselves with our inner power to change? Where do we contribute to the change we want to see in the world? Is really the theme. And contribution will be also huge regarding Aquarius. So, Pluto turning around brings up Plutonian themes. So that's themes around power. How do we relate to external power, to power in interrelationally with others, and also in society? And where do we find power within, in our core, in our soul, and from Capricorn also with ancestry? So, how do the ancestors support us these days? How do we appreciate them and all the work that they've done through history, um, their own integrity, their relationship to authority, Capricorn, and the elders? How can we really see their uh, their all their work, all their integrity that they showed up with, the work that they had to do, the hardship they had to go through, and to be uh, an expression of them uh, being in the world, in their historic context, and building a better world for their children. We are the ones that they worked for, and so honoring them that way, right? And not repeating history. And so maybe the moon always has to do with family, home, and the maternal lineage especially. And Pluto in Capricorn has to do with ancestors. So it would be a beautiful time, since it's also Canadian Thanksgiving, to giving thanks not just for the harvest, for the season, but also for family and ancestry, and spirit ancestry, of course, with Pluto. What else is coming up this week and going on? Speaking of the moon is now waxing towards the full moon. The moon is, as of today, in Aquarius, was in Capricorn, actually also past Pluto yesterday evening. I had a beautiful conversation with an old friend of mine, and that was very apropos because we connected to and via everything that is timeless and has passed the test of time at the same time. It's very Capricorn, right? And solid. So, solid, rock solid friendship is a beautiful expression of the Capricorn Aquarius interface. And the moon will be waxing now in Aquarius, then in Pisces. When will the moon be in Pisces? Before she goes into Aries. So Aquarius today, the 4th, tomorrow the 5th, then Pisces on the 6th and 7th, and a little bit into the 8th, and actually from the morning of the 8th and all through the 9th, the moon will be in Aries, and then into Taurus on the 10th, Canadian Thanksgiving. Perfect timing. Moon will be in Taurus from 2:04 p.m. on Canadian Thanksgiving. Perfect for Canadian Thanksgiving dinner. I love it. So, and Aries has to do also with, getting ready and getting things going. That can also be a spontaneous way of arranging something. It has to do with food, good company, and sharing in that regard. So the moon, and then what's going on this week also is, also speaking of the full moon, the sun will oppose Chiron. Sun in Libra will oppose Chiron. That already opens up the full moon window because it brings up that Libra, Aries, and Chiron theme when the sun opposes Chiron on October 7th. So October 7th to 9th is really the full moon window, and it's all about healing, it's all about justice, fairness, balance, and taking action, yet also negotiating, being in right relationship with another, and so on. But at the same time, the medicine, Chiron, of being authentically ourselves. So, and then choosing, right? So if it's not about pleasing, it's not about compromising our authenticity, right? So this could even mean like, okay, to be really authentically myself, I choose not this particular engagement with these people, but something that's a better match. And I am still graceful and appreciative and clear, yet also honest and also authentic. What is a match and what isn't at this point. So Pluto I talked about, and then what's also going on. Yeah, also the Libra, the Aries Libra full moon is a lot about healing in relationships. And lots of relationships have really been very challenged in the last few years. So question is, what needs healing now? Where are the core wounds? Where are the early wounds with Aries that got triggered? And how did they affect relationships? Can these relationships be healed? Or maybe a new beginning is in order. So then we have this first half of October, actually, the alignment of Saturn and Uranus. Show it to you in the full moon chart. It's coming once more up, not exact, but it reflects the ripple effects of the alignment that was on 3 times in 2021, in February, in when was it again? In December, and I believe also in the summer at some point. So that was the key and the essential alignment of 2021, was a square between Saturn in Aquarius and Uranus in Taurus. So that they are again in almost exact square. It's really within a degree, right? Very, very close. The first half of October. That is quite an integration phase before they move out of the square, as Saturn moves further into and out of Aquarius, eventually leaving Aquarius next March, while Uranus is still in Taurus until 2026. So this is what it looks like at this point, where they are still in pretty exact alignment. Here's Uranus in Taurus, and here's Saturn in Aquarius. So see, the square is on again, even though the degrees are a little bit off, but super close, right? And so both are retrograde at this point too. Saturn will go out of retrograde on October 22nd, but Uranus will be still retrograde till January. And so what's the theme between these two? Where's the conflict? A square is a conflict that is also coming up with a full moon. The conflict here is Saturn in Aquarius has to do with all these what I call tests for humanity and the whole notion that our humanity matters. We've had Saturn in Aquarius since 2020, and so lots of tests for humanity since, and lots of challenges for humanity. What have we learned? What's the gist of that? How do we come out of this as we're moving slowly out of Saturn Aquarius next March? This is now the last half year or last 5 months of it. So, yeah, what's our bottom line here? What is our contribution to humanity, especially as it's gotten really hard and difficult? Do we contribute to the division, or do we contribute to a new vision? That's also Aquarius. And whom did we actually pool up with? What's the new group consciousness that we have cultivated, and how do we come out of an old dysfunctional system? Aquarius about systems. How do we collaborate and work for the new that works better? And who are our friends? What's with friendships since this whole phase? And the Uranus in Taurus piece has manifested in a traumatic way as disruptions to nature, disruptions to biology, disruptions to the body, and to our enjoyment of life, habits, like literally restaurants, food, like now again disruptions to food and to the monetary system, anything that gives stability. Taurus, the earth has been very over years, of course, right, but now also again peaking with this whole gas pipeline thing, that there's been lots of disruption and lots of violation in a way, right? And so how do we turn this around? Uranus is per se not happy in Taurus. Uranus would be exalted in Scorpio, would be in its best position in Scorpio. Why? Because it brings light and disrupts light into darkness and disrupts darkness and themes that are under the surface and otherwise hidden, covered, stuck. Uranus disrupts and interrupts that and wants to bring light into darkness. While Uranus in Taurus is actually not so great, because everything that is stable, is solid, gets disrupted at this point. And so how can we work with this energy in a better way? By being innovative, by be really focusing on freedom with Uranus, on awakening, on liberation. And how do we support that on a consistent basis and create new habits that are dedicated towards more freedom, also freedom from attachments. So we might, with Taurus, likely also being sort of called out by the events and by this time right now to let go of our attachments, how things should be, because they've always been like that. That is, of course, would be more comfortable, easier, more practical, yet also there's a spiritual notion of freedom from attachments, innovative energy. And the motto I give Uranus in Taurus is embodying freedom. How can you embody freedom despite what's going on and help anchor the light onto the earth and into the body, embodying the light body? So all of this is available if we step into this expression of that energy. And Saturn in Aquarius, actually, Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, also pushes us through sort of painful experiences into this. Now, I leave it with this, and it's gotten already quite a longish video, and I hope it was helpful. If you'd like to go deeper and more personal with your own birth chart, contact me and we set up a private session, which can be online or in person here in Victoria. I wish you well for this week, and keep an eye on the Astro News blog for the full moon, for Pluto going out of retrograde, and yeah, maybe something else coming up soon that I will write about, but definitely these two. And also the email Astro News that you can always subscribe to, which cover the phase from full moon to new moon and from new moon to full moon. Of course, also next one coming up for the full moon. Wishing you well, and you see me again next week on this channel, and I hope I see you also in person or online in whichever circumstance it will manifest. Take care. Bye.